Um, you have to just try to get it all out of your brain as fast as you can, and then
Yes.
make a note to yourself that you like you're going to go back and revisit this particular video or this particular speaker or whatever, and then know that you like need a little bit of time to decompress. Like it was so like it was really kind of funny because like I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago, family reunion was in Orlando. I was telling my family this story last night. It was in Orlando, and I had the great idea to like bring my family down early, and we went to Disney World for a few days, and then we went to the convention, but the family stayed.
Uh-huh.
And by the way, terrible idea. Okay, don't do that. Okay. And so the sessions would end and I'd like run back home and start changing diapers and putting kids to bed and all these things, right? And like I was so geeked up and my mind was like racing
Yeah.
that I was horrible at it. And after that time, I was like, we're not doing that anymore, right? So family time and convention are separate. So
Yep.
then last night, I walk out of the room at about 5:20 because I paused the computer a little bit and I came back and I'm like racing. And then, my wife had prepared the meal. So we sat down to the meal and like, she's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, you know, she's like, what's up with your energy? This is strange. So yeah, you just need a little bit of like debrief time almost. Like
Yeah.
when we would be in Austin or whatever, like I'd go walk around the hotel parking lot for like 20 minutes and like let my
Mhm.
brain like by myself, like
Yeah.
let my brain kind of like figure it all out. Then I'd go get ready to meet everyone. um, it's just I mean, what did you guys notice in all of the presenters? Did you notice any particular themes? Hey, good morning, Kathy and Heather. Did you notice
Good morning.
any particular commonalities between the speakers?
To me, it was focusing on not yourself and not look at me, da da da, look at what I can do. It was about focus on the event, focus on the community, focus on your
Exactly.
clients, focus on people, love on people in whatever way, help people and help people grow.
That's right. I was kind of not surprised because there's only one speaker, by the way, that yesterday that I'd ever heard before. These are all new people, all of them. Um, uh, well, actually two, I'm sorry. But there was so little talk about the mechanics of a real estate transaction. It was all about how to help others. I thought that was
Yeah.
just, it's such a good takeaway is that sometimes we get so caught up in uh, ourselves. And like Kathy said, you go into the listing presentation, you just naturally want to be like, well, I've listed this number of homes and I sell homes for this percentage of listing price and blah, 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 blah. And the consumer is sitting there saying to themselves, okay, so you make a ton of money. What's that got to do with me? Right.
I totally agree. You know what? Just even on what Kathy said, that's why to me, I think, okay, you guys, my overall, I mean, I just fell out after I watched Tim Ferriss, right? So Tim just really blew me away. I thought that he was so authentic in how he came across with saying what is important with not just our transactions, but within ourselves and how we do business and how we handle the stress of the business and go forth. It just, I was after that, I was done. Tim just blew me away.
Yeah. I really liked the couple right before Tim too, right? Not or the couple two before Tim, Crystal and Alan Johnson from Virginia. She was, man, she was
Yeah.
polished. She was really really good. Um, there was just so many good Man, there was so much good stuff. I'm like, I got like a list for mega camp notes. I got a list for like my team notes, like my 10-year plan notes. Like, man, it was good yesterday. What else? What else did you guys notice? What were some of your biggest takeaways?
They were really good at one thing. They may
Yes.
they may be, involved in all different kinds of lead generation, but they were really good and focused at one thing.
That's right. Um, and they all, I mean, you don't have that type of production without help. They all had help, right? I really loved Stephen Cooley, who was one of the last ones to present during the day. He's one of the top agents in all of KW, by the way, top 5 usually. And he said, I love the way he just made such a complex situation with COVID, and you could fill in the blank, right? You are, it is an unusual time based on blank, COVID, civil unrest, the election, the economy, the stock market, the president, whatever, right? And he said, you got one group of people that is scared to death and they're not doing anything. How can you serve them now? How can you give them what they need right now, right? Will it result in a transaction tomorrow? Doubtful. How can you help them right now, right? Then you get the people that are proceeding with caution, right? Y'all remember this? Proceeding with caution. So you better make sure they got gloves if people need gloves, right? Be respectful of where they're at, right? If they want to go in with booties and gloves and a spacesuit, let them do it, right? I'm not making commentary on that, by the way. I'm just saying figure out which group they're in and serve them based on the way they want to be served. And 3 is it's a hoax. And sometimes the people that think it's a hoax, you put on your mask and they make you feel like you're crazy, right? So just like you got to acknowledge and respond to how they feel about the current environment, you got to get comfortable enough in your skin to just do what you want to do, right? Like, I'm going to wear a mask. Like, if somebody's like, if we're in the room with somebody and they're like, I hate this thing, I think this thing's bullshit, and they take it off, like, that's tough, but I'm not going to take off my mask. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to be like, well, I think it's bullshit too, and meanwhile you're scared to death. And like, you might hesitate a little bit with saying, like, the mask is here to protect, like, you, so like, I'm actually a little scared to be in the room with you now, so I'm going to leave. Like, it's really tough. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get real clear on how you're going to react to those 3 groups of people. I loved this line. The biggest wildfire in the world can be put out with a foot if you catch it fast enough. Did y'all hear that part? Man, there's just nuggets left and right. Good morning, Darlene. Oh, you know what I also loved with Stephen Cooley, by the way? When Gary Keller said, what are you most proud of? Like, this is a dude who literally will sell like 1,500 homes this year. Okay. Let me repeat that. 1,500 homes this year. Okay. Our office will sell 1,500 homes this year. All right, just for comparison's sake. All right. And Gary asked him what you're most proud of. Do you remember what he said? The very first thing that came to his mind, which was, I mean, clearly sincere, is he said, I've provided an opportunity and an income for 40 families. That's my team. Did y'all hear him say that? Right. Sometimes we got to catch ourselves like thinking too much about us. And when you make more deposits than others, the world just comes right back to you. Darlene, you want to share any of your favorite moments from yesterday? Not to put you on the spot.
Oh no, that's fine. Well, I liked a lot. The last speaker, I believe, he said a lot of good points. And I can't remember his name.
Tim
Um,
Ferriss?
Tim Ferriss. Okay, was he the gentleman? I'm not sure if that was his name or not, but I know the very last speaker before
Yep.
everything went out, he said a lot of good points. He talked about his retreat, how that made him open up, and pretty much it gave him a new perspective on his business and his life and how he carried out things. Was that Tim Ferriss?
Yep. He was the very last speaker.
Yeah, I really like what he said, and I don't have my notes in front of me. There were a lot of good points that were made throughout the whole session. I like the fact that they wanted us to focus on ourselves, don't compare yourself to others. And then he even said in himself, don't be so hard on yourself. Pretty much, what he said, he was like one of my favorite speakers. I can't really, I don't have my notes in front of me, but I like that.
He's got an amazing story, by the way. Go ahead and finish, Darlene, and then I want to tell you one
he
about
was him. I like the couple because the couple before him from DC.
Yeah.
When they were talking about focusing on themselves, not the numbers, focusing on their goals. I thought that was very significant because often we, even in the office, we kind of compare ourselves with one another when we're throwing out each other's stats and things like that. I like the take on building in the community versus focusing on you directly. Focus on your community, and eventually that'll bring attention to you. It was just a lot.
Yeah. One thing, we're going to do a little bit of this during the 8:30 call. So I want to bring up a couple of more higher level points that I think are really relevant to the growth group, which is we are, we're the guide. We're the ones who mitigate the stress for buyers and sellers. One thing, I'm just like, I got notes and highlighters like everywhere. This is like dizzying just to look at, but that's why I said you got to focus on one little thing at a time, right? One thing that I thought was so critical is that they said the path is in the math. Oh. Did y'all hear that? The path is in the math. And so, because you guys have tended to sell some more homes than everyone else in the group, you might have a different outlook on why tracking is important, right? Why tracking is important. And I want to hammer this point home because here's the deal. How many times did you hear people say, our percentage of attendees was up by 7.75%, but our percentage of conversion was down 6.4%, right? Are you tracking anything with that degree of certainty, right? Did you hear the difference between how appointments set to held adjusted during COVID when the presentations were digital? I know the general consensus around tracking is a little bit of resistance, but I'm not doing it because I got nothing else to do. I'm not promoting it because I don't have anything else to worry about, right? These are the ways that you run a business, right? If you're going to open up any business, you want to be a baker, you're going to know how much eggs cost and where the best deal to get flour is and how much you bought last week versus how many donuts you made and how much you bought this week versus how much donuts you made. We have to track it. We have to track it. Kathy, you missed one of my favorite lines of the week, which was the path is in the math.
Oh, and there was another speaker who talked about accountability in her business. The one whose assistant pretty much was about to quit.
Oh, I love that one too.
I thought that was a great story.
Isn't it interesting that like we generally think of ourselves as the owner, as the person that's going to put our people on what sometimes we call a PIP, a performance plan.
Probation period.
Yeah, a performance improvement plan, right? And you say, look, I've noticed the following behavior. That's not going to work. Here's what my expectation of you is. You're on probation, essentially, right? And I thought it was such an interesting take on it to be the other way around. When you know you have a talented person in your world, and you've been dropping the ball as the leader, right? Whatever that means on leadership or stats or whatever it is. And the talented person walks into your room and say, yo, I want to win. I'm not winning here, right? Man, I loved that story. And what did she do? She said, oh, I don't want to lose this talented person. So what do I need to become as a leader, as a partner, whatever the phrase is, to get you what you need so you'll stay here, right? It works both ways.
You're right.
I've said a lot of times, one thing that we oftentimes forget about is that if you do the things that you know you have to do to be successful in real estate, right? I mean, Kathy, you're probably, right on this edge right now, if not a bit beyond it, right? You've done all the things you need to do to build a successful business. And one day you wake up and you're like, damn, I'm busier than I want to be. Like, I haven't eaten quite as many dinners with my family as I'd like. I'm working one too many Sundays per month. Or, man, I wish I could take a 5-day trip instead of a 1.5-day trip, right? And you start to see the quality of your life, even though you're making good money and you're making an impact and you got a lot of happy clients. You wake up and you say, man, this is not a life by design. This is just kind of snowballed into something that I don't even know what the hell it is, right? And the only way out of that, outside of retreating back to where you came from, is growth, right? None of the people interviewed yesterday were solo agents. None of them. They all either had a partner or an administrative team or a success team, as they called it. So you wake up one day and you say, well, damn, I need some help, right? And at that exact moment, you need to become a talent magnet, right? Because you don't just want your cousin's old girlfriend who needs a summer job to be your admin. You want the best damn admin that's ever walked the face of the earth to be your admin. Does that make sense? So if you happen to come across that person, are you the type of person they want to hang out with? Are you the type of leader that they're going to admire? You see what I'm saying? As you're developing your real estate skills, you better be developing your leadership skills too, because an A admin isn't going to tolerate a B leader.
That's funny you should say this, because during mega camp yesterday I got a text from my daughter saying she had a baby almost 3 years ago and decided not to go back to work, and she was doing my contract to close. Well, then her company called and said, hey, we really need you for 10 hours a week. And then she had another baby last year, and I felt like with that baby I was overwhelming her, and I was, especially when command came in and everything. And when she sent her father, me, and all of her siblings the text yesterday saying, hey, I just hung up with Michael, and they're gotten too busy, and they need somebody full-time in the office, and she's moved to Florida, and blah, blah, blah. I started thinking, she needs to come back, and, she needs to keep doing my contract to close stuff. I need to train her. And so this morning, because I have 3 closings coming up, I've not put one of them completely in command. So I'm having a closing on Friday, and I'm not getting paid for it until everything's done, which I don't have time for doing that. So that, it's like watching this, on the big screen, and then her saying that, it's like, oh my gosh, God just hit me twice. I'm overwhelmed. So,
What about using the? Can I possibly say something that might offend you?
using Robinson Realty?
No.
Oh, okay. No, offend me, Bill.
You certainly could. I didn't want that to come across the wrong way. Of course you could. There's a chance she views helping you as like helping mom, rather than a job,
No,
right? Rather
she
than an
used to,
opportunity.
yeah, she used to be a real estate agent. And, and she sees it as an opportunity. We talked about it this morning, and she said, I would love to do that. And that would take, it would take a little, her money was just like fun money. Her husband had already redid their budget, but she knows what she needs to do. I just got to get her trained in command. And so that's going to take some time. I'm going down there on Sunday. And, but, I don't think I hope she doesn't see it as helping me.
Well, the thing
To
is,
talk about that.
when she says, "Oh, this other person needs me to work X number of hours, and so I might have to work for you less," she could possibly be saying, "I feel like he needs me more than you need me." So maybe you haven't been clear enough with her on how important she is to your organization.
Yeah. Well, then, after she had the baby, it was like, I felt it was too overwhelming for her. And so I said, I'll just do it myself for a little while. And then, command Dot Luke went away. She knew Dot Luke well. And it's just been one of those things that, I keep thinking, I really need to get her to work for me again. And when that happened last year, when she had the baby and she no longer was helping me because it was just too much for her, my production went down because I wasn't accountable to her family. See what I'm saying? Like I wasn't accountable to her family for having contracts for her to take to closing.
Man, that's deep. All right, Kathy, I got some advice for you. I think you need to first I think you need to really do some soul searching on what role you would like her to play for you now and in the short and long term in your world.
Yeah.
Right? And I want you to get super clear on that. The next thing I want you to do is have a heart-to-heart and express all of that directly to her. All of the, well, I was thinking this, I mean, exactly what you just said.
Yeah. Okay.
I get my family too. I want to support them. I want to give you an opportunity. Let's talk about how we can help. Let me tell you something. Anybody that is a command whiz right now has 180,000 potential clients waiting for them. Okay? Because the people that are like you guys that are out there selling a bunch of homes, it's a little overwhelming to sit in front of the computer all day and learn command. I understand that.
The thing is I know command. I can train people on command. I'm too busy doing what I call the fun stuff to do the paperwork stuff. And, it's like, okay, I'm not going to get paid because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And I didn't give it to somebody else to do.
That's the interesting thing because your fun stuff is meeting buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
Her fun stuff is taking care of the stuff you don't enjoy.
Yeah, and she loves doing that. So
isn't it amazing that God made us this different?
Yeah.
Like, how cool. So
Yeah.
go tell her how important she is to your world and express all this stuff from the bottom of your heart and see if she wants to turn you into not turn you into a powerhouse, but help take you to the next level.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Thanks for sharing that. I know that's a lot of us were sharing things yesterday that you may have been resistant to sharing in the past, and I want to applaud that because we're all dealing with the same stuff, and the people that are willing to vocalize it are oftentimes the people that are able to help. And if you're in a community, if you're struggling with something business related or confidence related or skill related or whatever it is, let's talk about it. Right? How can we help you get past that, or or embrace it so you can take your business to the next place. You know, I also, I'll end with this idea is how cool is it that that team, I forget what team it is, or I think it's one guy, the guy that does the 4 seminars a month,
Oh, yeah.
and he doesn't do them. He's hanging out with his family, having dinner, and the consumer thinks they're in a live webinar. Is that not just the, like, if that is not proof that you can think bigger? And when somebody says, well, I can't sell 45 homes, I have a family. What are you talking about? Let's go grab every single person that sold 45 homes and ask them if they have other obligations outside of real estate. And 100% of them are going to say yes. So how come they were able to figure it out and you weren't, right? Would anyone yesterday morning have dared to say that you could host a seemingly live digital webinar with a new group of strangers, yet actually not be there, and have somebody on your team handling the chat room? That blew me away. What did you guys think of that?
I loved it, and I actually had a similar idea, but it was actually nice to see like somebody else actually doing it, because that makes me want to push towards doing that too.
Right. I love that. I love that. I also, I mean, I'm
I
just going
concur.
back. Who was that?
Oh, I was just saying, I totally concur with what she just said. I love the idea.
Yeah. I mean, how can you can only be one place at a time. How can you be in the place you want to be and have a bunch of other stuff happening for your benefit elsewhere, right? I just came across the note of the lizard visitor, right? She takes the picture of the lizard up against the background of a big house, but she's really showing the house. Oh man, I mean,
thought that was so funny.
it's like
That was creative.
yeah, it's like the creativity of these agents is just mind blowing, and it's you know, it as I've said many times before, it doesn't have anything to do with how smart you are or where you went to school or what your GPA was or what you studied. It's, are you willing to come into the business and just learn it every angle and see where you can have a competitive advantage and see what people are doing well and not doing so well, right? You know, there's a line that somebody said, when you get the business, you will get the
Yeah.
business.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all hear that? When you get the
Yeah, it was
business,
Gary. Yeah.
you will get the business. I mean, he really could have said, hey guys, welcome to Mega Camp. When you get the business, you will get the business. Have a nice day. Class dismissed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's that clear. It's that clear. All right, I'm gonna hit the recorder stop real fast and